Hello everybody, it's Mike, the Baldadonis. Tonight's video, if you're new to my channel, hello everybody, my name is Mike the Baldadonis and I talk about many different topics. Some of them are health issues, car related, relationships, online dating, injuries, me being in prison, all kinds of goodies. And I have conspiracy theories that come on and they tell their little stories about how the world's ending. So anyways, the reason why I am on YouTube is because of one person only. He is my mentor, he is my doctor, he's my chiropractor, and he is a friend. You haven't seen him in a few months. If you're new subscribers, I haven't brought him on only because he's been so busy. His name is Dr. Peter Prococo, and he is the main reason why I do YouTube. He tells me that I have such a unique story that I need to share it. So I thought about it, and now I tell all kinds of stories. So let's see what he has to say. It's been 3.5 months. Where have you been?
Well, I traveled to Tibet. I went to the top of the mountain, Mount Sinai. Anyway.
Well, that will explain the beard.
That would explain the beard. Where have I been? Listen, first of all, guys, nice to see you again. I know I've been out for a little bit of time here. I'm working on some professional things associated with video production and marketing for a company that I've been working for in Boston. So I've been, on a pilgrimage to learn a lot of new stuff and create new video products for a company. And I finally had wrapped that up and said to Mike, we're going to get together again and start doing some more videos. So here we are. We're at it again. Yeah, I just did a video a little while ago. Mike had helped me out. We were talking about emotional winter, and we wanted to kind of just, reflect on that story that we were just talking about. And emotional winter isn't really about this winter specifically. It's a metaphor. Emotional winters happen to us. Sometimes we feel overwhelmed and like no one's on our side and things aren't going so great. And these things happen to us all the time. I mean, 3.5 months of not seeing Mike, both of us have been up and down with all kinds of things, just communicating once in a while, but frustrating. Life can be that way at times. But I can tell you this, that emotional winters, they end at some point. When you're feeling off, depressed, and miserable, and you're like, why am I getting toasted by life? Because life toasts us. It doesn't care who you are, by the way. It's not going to come and find you and say, hey, Baldadonis, I'm going to come and stick it to you. Life is just going on, and we're just we're invited to be here. Pretty much, that's it. You're just here. And when you're gone, I'm sorry to say, you'll be missed for a period of time, and then you'll be forgotten about by history. Excuse me, unless you're one of those people. A Lincoln, a Washington, Roseanne Barr, for instance. I mean, when she's gone, the world will struggle. Someone will struggle, I don't know. But anyway, so realistically, our lives are really a reflection of the circumstances around us and how we interpret them. And sometimes it can last a while. You can really sit around for months and months and months, feel victimized by a bunch of things that are happening in your world. And the thing that I think is really important is that a lot of people just, they change behavior and they start doing things that are damaging to them as people and to their friends and family around them. And that's when I hope you're careful, that you realize that emotional winters, they come, and I'll almost guarantee you that anybody watching this, including yourself, has realized that in the last 12 months, you might have been through 2 or 3 of these short emotional winters where you feel like things aren't going well, you can't explain it, it's aggravating, and you just want to crawl in bed and pull the covers over your head and say, screw it, I don't want to deal with this. But you have to. But emotional winter, it stops, it ends. It always leads back to something that's good again. And some people would say, well, life has never been good for me. Well, I'm sorry to say that it has been good for you, whether you like it or not. I'm sorry to say it. Because you have to have something to reflect your ugliness of the life that you have now onto something good. So if I was to say to you, emotional winter, what's the opposite of that? It's the warmth of the summer. One has to define the other. That has to happen. You got a right hand? You only know you have a right hand because you have a left hand. You got a right ear. How do you know it's the right ear? Because of the left ear. If you're depressed, how come? Because once you were happy. If you're happy, how can that be? Because once you were sad. That's how life is. It goes up, it goes down, the yin and the yang. So during these holiday periods, right? Think of this. It's cold. It's dark if you live in the Northeast United States where the BA and I are. It's cold. It's miserable sometimes. But I also know that I want to change my perspective. I want to hang out with my buddy.
That's right.
I'll have a few laughs. It's okay. It could be winter because it's going to end. Emotional winter, it's going to end. But if you do something with inside your emotional winter, if you start telling people off and sticking it to people around you who really don't have it in for you, but that's your perception, you've goofed things up. And then when you finally come out of your emotional winter, you're all alone now. There's nobody there for you. How come? You screwed it up. You said stuff you shouldn't have said. You should have maintained some silence and became introspective. Try to figure out who you are. Or go talk to somebody. Watch a YouTube video. Find your way back and realize that you still have a leg up in this world. That if you can breathe today, you can still kick butt. If you can't breathe and you're not watching this, then don't worry about it. You're not here anyway.
So what about like health consequences that go along with being depressed?
Well, they're huge, and I'm glad you said that, because when people are depressed, the body keeps the score of what the brain is doing. That was a wonderful book I just read. It was really great by a psychiatrist. He's talking about how the brain becomes traumatized over time from all the things that we have to live through. Life is a difficult struggle. Maybe you were one of those people that your parents weren't very good to you. They got divorced early. Your father whacked you around a lot. He expected so much of you, but he never really fed into it. Your mother was an alcoholic. She couldn't handle him. And you're out on your own at the age of 16. You're wondering, what the hell? This is your life. I know, it's not good, but that's what life does to us. And then as a consequence of that, the brain must now protect you at all costs. So your brain is busy protecting you, and it's releasing chemistry in the protection process from your brain to your body. And to Mike's question, you're going to make yourself sick. Unfortunately, most of the patients that I see in my clinic, they didn't fall from a ladder and hurt themselves. They came in and said, this has been bothering me. And I'm like, well, my mind is saying, what have you been doing? What's going on? What is your perspective? And you listen to them for 5 or 10 minutes, you realize they're struggling. And by the way, don't you work with people that just drive you nuts sometimes? That they're like Debbie Downers, and they're always talking crap? They don't do this just for the heck of it, because they didn't do it when they were 7. They're doing it now because they're in emotional pain. They're probably in an emotional winter, right?
Deep time.
They're feeling crappy. And then all of a sudden their stomach doesn't feel good. Mike's done a lot of stuff on nutrition, and it's really important how your body responds to what you eat. But the way your intestines digest is a response to what you're thinking about. Let me ask you a question. What's a good way to eat? Sitting quiet, listening to some wonderful Mozart, or being on a bus on your way home from Boston with 50 screaming kids?
Yeah, I'll take the first choice.
The first choice, right? Because your digestive system is in accordance with your mind. The nervous stomach, maybe some of you guys have the nervous stomach out there. I just don't feel good. I have irritable bowel syndrome. A lot of those things are driven, as Mike would tell you, from some allergic sensitivities from certain foods and reagents that are put in our foods. That's true. But the other part is that emotionally you're all over the place. And when you're emotionally all over the place and you go to your doctor and you don't divulge anything with them, then they're just going to look at you and say, I'm going to put you on a regimen of meds or medication or something, perhaps, or maybe it requires surgery or something that it's your only option. And I go, no, you should have talked to your doctor a little bit more. I see people in my practice that are dizzy patients. Mike was one of them. Recently I just saw a couple of young ladies that had been abused sexually, and nobody ever asked them. But I did, because I thought it was important to realize that what I was examining in those patients was something that's not found in a textbook. That's why nobody else has ever seen it before. And I'm like, it wasn't positional vertigo. It wasn't vertigo from a cardiovascular anomaly. It wasn't MS. It wasn't cancer. It was constricted blood vessels in the brain that come transiently based upon stress, emotional stress. These women had been abused. So when they were abused, they can relive the abuse with a trigger that they don't even know is triggering them. Turning on the TV and seeing the Me Too movement touted on the streets of Washington. That makes it difficult for those particular patients because they're hearing those words, me too. And they're like, mother of God, that's pinging my emotional system that had to live through an event, and now I'm reliving it. When I live through the event, I fire the nervous system, which causes the constriction of the small capillaries in the brain, and they wind up dizzy. And until they understand that they're promoting it themselves based on events that took place earlier, they're going to struggle. And with me under my care, not that I'm any better than anybody else, I just assume to ask better questions. Ask a good question, get a good answer, which would probably be a good segment as well. Man, the questions that we ask ourselves, our brain will produce an answer. So if you ask yourself, why am I just so fat? What a question, right?
That is a question.
What do you think your brain's going to say?
Did you eat?
Because you ate too much?
I ate too much.
Because you're emotionally a wreck, that's why you eat so much. You eat all the wrong foods because you need instant gratification. So you're not fat just because you ate too much. Go one step beyond it. You're fat at this point because your body processes things so poorly because you put stuff into your mouth to feel better because you're suffering from some emotional event that you've been having to go through, but you can't put two and two together. You can't put the two and two. You know, it's like if you were in a relationship just before Christmas and it ended, or better yet, let's use this one. You lose somebody during the Christmas holiday. Somebody close to you has passed away. Mother, father, God forbid a child. You lose somebody. So every day of your life during the Christmas season is like miserable. You hate it. It's like, whoa, what are you doing? Now you're going to make yourself sick. The holidays are going to be even worse. And then what happens when they start talking about the Christmas sale season in July? It seems like now. It's so early, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All of a sudden you start taking a dip. In certain times of the year you don't feel good and you're on more allergy medication, more medication for your blood pressure, more medication for your ailing stomach, more medication for pain and inflammation, more medication for migraine. You have to realize that you created most of this stuff on your own, but you didn't know you were doing it because your physician today doesn't talk to you about that. Your physician tells you, oh, I can put you on a pill to make you feel better. What's the difference between Prozac and Budweiser? I mean, there's a reason. There are things, of course. But ultimately, both are there to make you feel different. Why would a person smoke a cigarette? Feel different.
I guess. I have no idea.
Like, think about it. What's it cost for a pack of cigarettes? I know you don't smoke,
It's
but
about $10 a pack, I think.
$10 a pack to kill yourself. It doesn't make any
Oh,
sense.
yeah.
But it doesn't need to make sense. Well, better yet, it does make sense. Think of it this way. If you smoke cigarettes because you're miserable in your life and emotionally you're getting slapped around by a lot of things, and the cigarette immediately takes your pain away, you're going to be a smoker. You're not stopping because you feel good when you smoke the bud. And as a matter of fact, people who quit smoking, it's almost like divorcing somebody. You lost somebody that always made you feel good, but you know is killing you. It's like, oh my God. We have to make sure that we're taking care of our emotional inventory so that we can make better choices in our life. Because if we don't, we're going to get sick. We're going to get slapped around. I mean, take a good look at this, people. Look at this right here. Is this unbelievable? The BA. The BA. So what have you been doing since I saw you last?
I've been continuing on with the YouTube and I'm trying to prove myself more and more. After seeing you, because you and I went and bought iMac computer, and that was the last time I saw you, pretty much.
I know it's
And then
been
you're like, good luck, Mike. But being the mentor that you are, you gave me a lot of good steps to go forward, and you just like pressing me on to do well for myself in that aspect, and I'm coming along very well.
And you have.
I'm trying. That's the best I can do. You know, it's I love doing this. I'm enjoying it, and the more and more that I'm getting used to the camera, the computer, and other gear, the more confident I can be, so I can make a better video.
I love that, and I've been watching him and his stuff, and I'm even more impressed now that like when he said, "Go, here's your computer, go." I gave him a few pointer steps and said, "Okay, I took off the training wheels, now go." But in that time, he's learned a whole bunch about it. There was a time a couple years ago when him and I would hang out together, and he would easily get overwhelmed with the conversation that we were involved in. It was a little technical, and I'm a technical guy who can store a lot of data in my head. And he's like, "Dude, I can't be like you." I'm like, "Well, we're not like each other anyway. That's what makes us a cool pair. We're completely opposite. I'm short, he's tall. He's the Baldadonis, I'm the guy with the gray beard. Whatever. We're different all the way around. But what he's accomplished is something that I emulate and that I love it. It's like you're not going to get anything to work in your life unless you get out there and you make it happen. You have to work at it. And I'll tell you what, it's frustrating. In this modern world of instant gratification, It doesn't exist. And with Mike working on his stuff and me, I took a leap up when at the beginning, I told you I've been working with a company and, making some video presentation for them based upon my experience in human behavior and brain. I was able to take something, create a marketing campaign for them that they really like, because it's the next natural progression and the next natural step. The question is, what is your step? What are you gonna do? You're sitting here watching a couple of Neanderthals here have a conversation with you. Well, what are you gonna do? What kind of action are you gonna take? Think about Hollywood. It was lights, camera, action. It has to be action. Mike took action to learn more. And you know what? In a year from now, he'll be in my studio, which is almost complete, another thing associated with action. Come on, man. Get off your tush. Take action. Dream. Go for it. And when people say to you, you can't do that because of this, you're not smart enough to do that because of this, just laugh it off. These are people that are naysayers. Stop hanging out with people that are constantly ripping you. You'll know you're with the right people in your lifetime when they want you to do better. They want you to exceed whatever you've created. I want this guy to go to the moon and exceed anything that I've ever done in regards to all of this. How come? It just brings me great joy to be on a ride with him. If he's great and he got it from me, then we're both valid. We work together. So I want you to think about at home now. Right now, I want you to think, what do you want to do with yourself? Do you want to stay at the same job, doing the same thing every day? Not that it's wrong, and if you do, answer yes, that's what I like. I'm doing what I love, okay. But if you're not, don't complain about it. Go do something about it. If you're overweight, start thinking about contacting somebody that can help you get past the weight issue for you to understand it. If you need a doctor like me to come in and explain to you why you're dizzy or why you're dealing with something, take the action to do that. Be a person who's proactive. Get it done and make mistakes all the way along the way. Because Manischewitz, you are going to make mistakes. And if you're not making them, you're not growing. But the thing is they cause pain, and that creates an emotional winter that I talked about, and that you feel like you're alone and the world is kicking your butt. It's not kicking your butt. It's just doing what it's done for thousands of years, and you're in it as a guest. You have to decide who you want to be with inside of that environment that you're in. So you work hard at it, you bust your noggin, and before you know it, you're sitting back looking over what you've accomplished, and you go, that feels good. But it was never going to happen until you took action. But don't worry, your friends will tell you, you're so lucky. Lucky?
You're very lucky, buddy.
Lucky. Let me tell you what, a mentor once told me, luck is when when preparedness meets opportunity. One thing that we know is always around us is opportunity. You can make something out of anything. Just ask MacGyver. He could make a nuclear weapon out of a pine cone. You can make something out of nothing. But if you're unprepared and you don't take any action and now it's your turn, you're not lucky, because you'll just walk away saying you're a victim. Where I'm going to say I'm lucky as hell. Rock and roll. How come? Because I'm prepared. How come? Because every day I'm working on myself. I'm taking action and steps towards doing things. That's kind of what these videos have been. Setting up lights, camera, action, us working together. You're like, take a couple of knuckleheads on YouTube. Yeah, well, your knuckleheads one day might just be on a television show, and you're like, oh, Knuckleheads 1 and 2 are on TV. How'd they get there? Oh, they must be an overnight sensation.
Must be.
Unlikely. What was your first camera?
Just a few months ago.
What was it?
Canon camera.
No, before that.
Oh, my cell phone?
Yeah.
The cell phone?
Cell phone, right? We were both using cell phones.
That's right. This one right here.
Right? And by the way, this cell phone was one of my older phones. Mike didn't know how to use these phones. I said, don't buy a new phone. You don't even know how to use it. Use mine. And then when you're done, go get a new one. Have some fun. He goes, oh, okay. Now he's a champ at the dang thing. Each thing that you do, you're learning more and more and more, and you're gaining confidence. Trust me, I'll bet if you're sitting at home and you feel like you're a mess, you sleep in bed at night and you worry and you have anxiety that you're the only one in the world. No, everybody has that. I have it every night. But I consistently tell myself, be aware that it's happening. And it's happening to all of your YouTube subscribers, all of Mike's YouTube subscribers, everybody around the world. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your station is. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how old you are. Every one of us has anxiety, and we worry about stuff for multiple different reasons. And if you can just tell yourself, look, I know I'm stressing, I know I'm messed up, I know I'm in an emotional winter, but I'll get through this. That's all you really need. I'll get through it. And get yourself around people who are outside of the emotional winter and really basking in the sun so they can show you the way and how to get back there. And then when you get back there, I implore you, take your new feeling and happiness and joy and go bring someone else and show them and guide them out of their emotional winter so that each one of us is feeding into each other. Then if you happen to pop back into your emotional winter because life has fed you some more obstacles, then the people that you helped will help you back. And before you know it, we're all helping each other, and that's really the key. That is the key. Not what can I get out of you, how can I, profit off of you, but better yet, what can I do to help you to have a better life? And what is that process? That's what makes me whole. Part of that is we're getting to the true core of what's causing their ultimate dysfunction. Because in another office, well, you have this, write a script for it. I'm like, all right, it's one way to do it. But the another way to do it is to understand what's going on in their lives and what has happened. I bring it up to them, explain it to them, show it to them, relate it to now the physiology. And what did I do? I help bring back their control. They feel in control again because now they understand why I might have vertigo, why I have migraine headache. And then they're part of, or should I say they are, the vanguard of fixing the problem. And I become their consultant that teaches them. They'll stop saying that I'm your healer, that you're a wonderful healer. I'm not a healer. Humans don't heal humans. Healing happens on its own. But it'll heal poorly or in a way that doesn't serve you if you don't pay attention to how you're getting through your daily routine of emotion. In the end, I wanted to say, great to be back. I love being on, obviously. I can talk forever, and that guy can talk. But there's so much in here that I don't want to die with. I want to get it out so people can be inspired by it. I want you guys to have an amazing holiday season, whatever that means to you, whatever your faith is, whatever your family's like. Just try to be happy and try to go help somebody. That'll bring the joy back into your life. And take Christmas forward, if you will. Take it every day to the next, every month of this year of 2019. Take care of people. You'll have a better life, a happier life, and things will open up for you.
There you go.
Wow. Whoa!
That's right.
That was kind of cool.
I like that. That was nice.
Yeah. So, life is good.
That's right. So, hopefully I'll be coming back again.
Yeah. We'll be seeing you guys again soon. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out with us for a little bit. I know we're a little wordy, but that's the way it goes.
All right, guys. So until the next video, Baldadonis out.